Hey guys, this is Mel, and I am back to talk about Legends of Tomorrow, episode 513, titled The One Where We're Trapped on TV, which premiered Tuesday, May 26, 2020 on the CW. I'm recording roughly half an hour since the episode has ended, so it's 10:30 for me right now. So huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. Quick YouTube shout out to MCO. Really appreciate your thoughts and comments about my previous video that dealt with 511 and 512. Truly appreciate that. I hope you come back to check out what I have to say for the last two episodes of the season. With that said, though, this video is only covering 513. I was planning on combining the last two episodes, but then this episode was just so fun that it just needed its own video. So there's that. No timer today. But I'm going to try to keep in mind to do it with under 20 minutes. Let's see how I do. So let's get started. What happened this episode? So timeline-wise, technically I don't know how to classify this since they are in an altered reality. So do with that what you may. I'm assuming, though, it's still set in 2020, though, for our characters. Episode timeline, or no, episode reminder, shoot, I just skipped over a line. It's pretty much the fact that we're stuck in a TV land. The episode itself makes reference to that as well. So there's that as well. But the villain, though, pretty much you could say it's the Fate sisters. More specifically, it's Charlie, because she's the one that's trying to prevent the Legends from escaping the TV, only because she's trying to be the barrier between her sisters and the Legends, which I'll get into in just a moment with the episode breakdowns or the storylines. So pretty much it's all one major storyline, but I'll separate in two separate parts. First one being the relinquish the whole free will, the new world that we're stuck in, that was created by the Fates. And the second one is the Legends reunite. Give me one moment. Sorry, huge sneeze. Anyways, and then Legends reunion. So the first storyline with it, pretty much what's set in the new reality, which is the world where the Fates are in control, no free will. Any signs of rebellion, all that's nixed from the history books. We see Mona, Gary, Lita, and her mother, Allie, all living in this new world, while we see the members of the Legends team being alive within the TV in this new reality. And they're in the TV because Charlie struck a deal with her sisters saying to not kill them, and she'll keep them in the TV where their programmings would be kind of like a reindoctrination of the new society, so new programming, I guess you could say. And she gives, to kind of make it a little less forced, Charlie tried to make the Legends' new roles on these TV shows match what their wishes were in the previous episode before the whole zombie horde attacked them. So you kind of see a little bit of parallels there. They do mention it themselves, the characters, when it comes to what kind of shows they were on, which we will talk about later on for sure. Keep in mind for that. But the second storyline is specifically in TV world, where we get the original Zari is kind of emerging from the air totem, and she's the only one that has put together what's happening. So she's tasked to bring the gang back together by jumping from show to find them all. Once they do that, their memories are regained or they're restored, and it's all of them, not just the new timeline with Bayrod and Zari 2.0, but it's both timelines with both versions of Zari's. The Legends team have remembered full scale of that. So there's that. And then by the end of it, though, they have to, because they're forced to reset pretty much, they have to decide to choose free will option over staying in the TV world and living out their ideal choice, as it was said. So with Sarah and Ava, they decide to lose in the situation where they're always supposed to win. For Astra and Constantine, they leave after Natalie pretty much tells them to, it's okay for you to go and to explore the world. And then we got Zari, Bayrod, and Nathan telling the audience to pretty much stop being obedient zombies to the Fate and kind of step up and rebel, while also trashing their food called mush. So there's that, which we'll get into a little bit more. Last moments of the episode show the Legends, though, deciding to fight the Fates and walk out of the studio, making Charlie realize that she can't protect them anymore from her sisters, which is what she was trying to do all this time. So there's that. Tidbit though, it hit me after this episode that this is also another altered reality episode that the Legends have done. They've pretty much had one for each season now. Specifically in episode 216 and 217, we dealt with the new altered reality due to the Spear of Destiny that was caused by the Legend of Doom. And then there's also 408, which dealt with the whole altered timelines because Constantine went back in time to affect his relationship with Desmond, which got all those 3 different versions of the Legends of Tomorrow, including the puppet version. So there's that. And then we got this one, TV Land 513. If you want, you can kind of say that 318 is an altered reality, but it's more of a change in the timeline, which kind of changes things due to Mollus's showdown happening in 1992, I believe. Or it was meant to... Ultimately, after the whole Mollus thing, Zambezi changed after 1992. So that altered the timeline there. And then also 416 altered the timeline with the introduction of Hayworld, which resulted in the Zari switch with Bayrod. So there's that. So in each season so far, there's been like a major like timeline shift or a huge reality shifting episode. So I thought I'd mention it there. But also another tidbit is the fact that Astra got a bit of time with a version of her mom, Natalie. She had to go back to see whether or not her mom was real, or if she was just if she was like Bayrod in that he was brought back to life and he had his memories restored, which wasn't the case for Natalie, I don't think. So there's that. Also, for Lachesis, she isn't actually featured in the episode. She is on a bunch of Fate propaganda, though. Atropos, she was in a brief scene at the beginning where she makes the announcement over the television screen for Jeffrey before publicly cutting his thread from afar after what looked like him showing signs of rebellion. So there's that. And then also there's a small thing with sitcom Nathan making a slight reference to the Green Arrow. I might have missed the correct wording, but I think he referred to as the Robin Hood on the show Arrow. I think he definitely had a crossbow throughout the whole stint, so there's that. But let's move on to most shocking moment of the episode. I tried thinking about it because pretty much this whole episode was a shock, but then when you got past all like the absurdity of some things, I think the shocking moment would have to be the fact that Charlie wrote the Legends back into their shows, pretty much resetting their whole journey when just after they got their memories back during the Mr. Parker section. So that was something there that was a shock. Hold on. I just remember something that I wanted to talk about later. So there's that. But let's move on to top 3 favorite moments. The fact that they are stuck in TV land was like the best thing ever. This is only the second show I've been able to see this happen and happen well within the scope. First off, Supernatural did that in 508, 10 years ago. So they did it well. So then to see this happen on Legends was just fantastic. Specifically, they kind of mimicked Friends with their version of Ultimate Buds, which is where Zari, Nathan, and Bayrod ended up in first. And then we got Downtown Abbey. I think I said that right. I don't know. But anyways, that show being turned into High Castle Abbey, which featured Constantine, Astra, and a version of Natalie. And then we got Star Trek being turned into Star Trip, which featured Sarah, Ava, and later Mick, which was fun. And then we also got the spin for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood with the return of Mr. Parker's cul-de-sac, with the return of Mr. Parker himself that we saw in the previous episode. I think previously in the season. I think it was like 507, I believe. No, 506. And the episode where Ray proposed to Nora in that episode. And the actual episode that's called Mr. Parker's cul-de-sac. So there's that. So it's pretty interesting to see how very similar or how much they could get away with being able to be as close to the original as they could be in regards to like look and style and such. The only thing I'd say was a little bit of peeve is the way that Sarah was talking during her stint as the Star Trip captain. But Ava's robotic talk kind of like fit with the... kind of had a throwback of how she used to talk when we first got... not to that extent, but when we first met her. She very seemed like by the book and like recited the rule type of thing. But anyways, I digress. So there's that. So it's just interesting to see them all play in these different genres, if you will. Because you had funny sitcom, you had high drama or period piece drama, and then you had the sci-fi, and then you had children's. So yeah, it's pretty good. Second favorite, I would have to say, is the fact that we got to see both versions of Zari, not only in the switch between newer Zari and the sitcom version, and then having her switch to OG Zari, and you can see that like the mannerisms changing, the speech pattern changes. That was just like trippy in itself, but it was so cool as well. But then also see them at the very end when Charlie split the thread so that there would be both versions of Zari standing there, and then just to see them be distinctly different beside each other, that was something as well. Very trippy, but very cool. So with that, we got the reunion, the true reunion between Nathan and OG Zari, both in Mr. Parker's cul-de-sac, as well as once they're outside of the TV. So there's that. Also, it was very interesting during the Mr. Parker part that Bayrod and Constantine both asked original Zari where their version of Zari was. So Bayrod I can understand because that's the version of his sister that he grew up with. But for Constantine to kind of be tagging along with that question, since the previous episodes when they kind of been implied that they hooked up together. So that's something right there. So there's that. Another favorite I did have was the whole memory montage that we got. It wasn't just seeing into them getting this changed look in their eyes and being like, oh, they got the memories, but the fact that we got the whole memory montage with each of them, and specifically what they remembered last, or up to what point did they remember. I really like that we got to see that for every single character. So that was something there. I also liked the fact that they made it so that the Legends remembered both versions of the timeline. So they remembered their adventures with original Zari, and they remembered the versions of the revenge. I can't talk. I like that they remembered the adventures with original Zari, and then the version of those adventures that they had with Bayrod and Zari 2.0. So I like that they got both versions of it. But what was really sad, though, was when Bayrod had said that he's not supposed to be alive in any timeline. That broke my heart, because he is a gem, and I don't want him to die. I want him to live, and I hope that he survives past this season. I hope he becomes a regular for season 6, for sure. I don't know what they're going to do with the double Zari thing, because I don't think his actress going to want to do double duty for the next season. I don't know. So there's that. But also another thing I liked, though, after the memory montage, was the fact that these characters had their own specific fight back to their own reality. So the fact that Sarah had to convince Ava why they should go back to their reality instead of living it out on Star Trip, and how that got televised the way it did, was pretty cool. And then also to have Constantine kind of offer to stay with Astra and have her live her life with Natalie, and then show that like he will stay for her and he will submit to being the butler and everything for her, and then to turn around when she said for them to return. That was something there. And then just to have the Zari and the ultimate buds, Bayrod and Nathan just fighting and like trying to corrupt the audience, I guess you could say, and trying to get them kicked off the TV. I just really like their different takes on it, like I mentioned previously before in the tidbits, or in the storylines. So that is something there that I really liked. But top 3 peeve moments, the only peeve I did have was, or I got 2 that I just thought of earlier. But first peeve was the fact that Mick's absence in the episode was, I kind of wanted to see him in these other roles. I mean, I was kind of worried that he wouldn't have been in the episode until he made an appearance as the enemy in Star Trip. And then to have his line saying like he loved that show and he loved his hair, why'd you get it canceled type of thing. So I'm a little disappointed that Mick wasn't in as much of the episode as the other characters were. But at least he was in it, period. Unlike my second peeve was the fact that Ray Palmer couldn't make up an appearance, because I kind of hoped that maybe he'd be part of the Parker cul-de-sac section, and maybe he would be Mr. Parker, or maybe he'd be a character that's on Mr. Parker. But I understand why he wasn't on it, because he's not part of the cast anymore. But it's like, that would have been something just to have him there, because he was playing the role of Mr. Parker when the show was actually introduced earlier in the season. So that's something there. But let's move on very quickly to random questions. First one is, why do you think the air totem reacted the way it did? I mean, it is the thing that started this whole we gotta reunite the legends in TV land thing. I mean, the air totem released original Zari, and that is what jump-started everything. So there's that. The second question was, which TV role do you think Gary would have been a part of? Because that would have been fun. I mean, yeah, he played his role in the world outside of the TV with Mona, but it would have been interesting just to see if he would have been with Constantine, if he would have been with Ava, would he have just been a neighbor on Ultimate Buds? What would have happened there? I thought that would have been pretty funny. I know with Mona, she had to stay in the outside world because she had to be part of that whole rewriting the script thing and like rewriting history aspect of it and just following the rules of the new world and trying to like keep her nose to the ground type of thing. But there's that. But let's move on to predictions very quickly before my throat goes out because I can feel it right now. But based off the promo for 5/14, it looking like we're going to get a museum fight scene or a fight scene in a museum. Pretty awesome. It looks like we're still going to get the two versions of Zari's being corporeal. And then it looks like we're going to be taking on the Fates. Naturally so, because this is the season finale, as stated with the synopsis. That season finale, we still have it saying, still controlled by the Fates, the legends find themselves in 1984-esque world. They soon discover that things aren't as they thought they would be. The legends must convince the civilians to trust them and stand up for their right to choose, but the Fates don't make it easy by resurrecting the Encores once again. Don't know how I'm going to feel about seeing the same Encores or if it's going to be different ones. It's probably going to be the same ones just to avoid any new introductions or anything. But it'll be interesting to see how the legends are going to convince the civilians. I thought maybe convincing them might be a little easier if they had kept the whole mockumentary thing going on. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's definitely playing on like the two-part aspect that like the whole Spear of Destiny two-parter kind of did it in the end of season 2. So just have to wait and see about that. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it. But what did you guys think of this episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think will happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, theories, and opinions about what you think will happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all the good stuff, all found in one place. Go check that out. I am behind. I'm currently in the middle of my current semester for school. So, yeah, be fingers crossed patient, but the same applies to WordPress. Link is down below as well. A little more organized, a little more detailed, but still a work in progress as well. But anything I post online is connected through WordPress. Also, guys, if you haven't checked it out already, I did post a CW Upfronts video that kind of is me giving my own summary take on the press release that announced what the upcoming television schedule is going to be like for the remainder of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. Also included is Legends and all the rest of the renewed shows from the CW that I watch. Heads up, Legends Season 6 is going to be part of the mid-season lineup, which is going to be a lot later than it's usually brought in. So watch the video if you want to get a bit more of a perspective from me about that. Or if you just want details, the video includes the press release link in the description box below as well. But otherwise, guys, I think that is pretty much it. Yeah. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next week to see what they say about the season finale. Otherwise, until then, check out any of my other videos that may catch your interest. Whether it's other recaps or if it's just other miscellaneous videos that I've done about TV in general. Like I did a crossover video, I think a few weeks ago. So check that out as well. Or if you have any ideas, just put them down in the comments down below. If I have the time, I might think about it and maybe make something of it if it's in my wheelhouse. But yeah, just let me know. But until then, guys, I really gotta go. I got homework to do. So until next time, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week where you are. Bye for now, and I beat the 20-minute clock. Bye.